Today we're talking split fiction.
And the state of co-op games.
Stay tuned to find out.
Hello and welcome to Couple Chat.
Where we
Parents.
discuss topics for you.
Parents. I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie. Let's chat.
So today we are talking about probably one of the most epic games that we've played in a while, I feel. Split fiction. Before we get into it, though, I just briefly wanted to mention that since last week we talked about Andor, we did finish Andor, and I just wanted to say a brief little thing about it for myself, and if you want to say something about it, but if you guys haven't seen the finale of Andor, definitely go check it out. I think the last episode is called Rogue One, and it's about 2 hours and 16 minutes, so make sure you have some time.
Yeah, you'll definitely need to make room in your schedule. Make sure you don't fall asleep, man.
Yeah.
Both times we've tried. We've had to break this last episode up in parts.
Last episode. Obviously, we're kidding, but that's exactly how Andor felt. Like, when it ends, it doesn't really go out with a bang. There's nothing crazy that happens.
Well,
I mean, you know what I mean. In comparison to them leading up to Rogue One, which is a big, crazy moment, you know?
Yeah.
Of how they get the Death Star plans and whatnot. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, though. There is one really crazy twist that I'm not going to mention, but I think it may change Star Wars for the future.
I think so too.
Yeah. So any final words for you on Andor?
I mean, I really liked it. I think it's one of those shows that will definitely help reinvigorate the Star Wars fandom in older crowd, because they're the ones who are the prequels stink, and well, I mean, we don't like the sequels either, but
no one does.
I think this could even reinvigorate the older crowd's love of New Hope. And I think this really led up to all of it. And I mean, we liked Rogue One when it came out in theaters. So that is definitely something that you should follow up Andor with. After the finale, definitely just go and watch that season finale or series finale, Rogue One,
right.
the film. But it made us just so ready to watch more.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
For sure. Anyway, so moving on from Andor and anything Star Wars today. We haven't talked gaming in a while, but over the last couple of months since it came out, we've been playing Split Fiction.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jackie? What did you think?
Well, it released right before my birthday on March 6th, and we almost forgot about it.
I didn't forget about it.
It seemed like you almost forgot about it. But it's been great. It was a journey. I mean, the highs and lows and certain things I figured out, but still didn't figure out the way that they said. And it was nice. It was refreshing to have a co-op game that had a really good story and also had really cool mechanics and being able to play. Hazelight Studios just has this way about making a game, because I mean, It Takes Two, check out our episode on that, but it's the same studio, and we really liked It Takes Two for other reasons. I feel like It Takes Two was more of couples therapy essentially, and building our relationship during that game. It Takes Two kind of took our relationship in a different direction, as opposed to Split Fiction. It was more about friendship and how we allow our lives to affect us as an individual, and how we can work together. And I don't know, I feel like they definitely know how to make you think. They definitely know how to make you feel. The emotions, the roller coaster we went on, it's just astounding that a game can do that.
Yeah.
But compared to other co-op games, I mean, this is by far the best that I've I've ever seen, ever touched, ever anything. And especially it's couch co-op, which we love.
Right.
But it also has that friends pass option. So even if we wanted to play with a friend who is thousands of miles away, we could still do that. And it would still feel like couch co-op.
And that person doesn't have to pay for a copy of the game.
Right. Which is crazy cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, man, I want you to just like come into my game and like just try it out. And then to get them hooked, it's just like.
Which is easy in this game.
Oh, very. Oh my gosh, the first 10 minutes, it was like, what?
What's funny is, and this is something that we didn't really struggle with, but I could see people who only like sci-fi or only like fantasy not enjoying the other half of this game. Mm-hmm. But I could also see it as being forced to play it, and then by the end of the game being like, you know what, maybe I'll give fantasy a try, or maybe I'll give sci-fi a try after playing this game.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's a toss-up, you know, like as to who might enjoy it. That's not something obviously we struggle with because we like all genres of pretty much entertainment in general.
Right.
But definitely fantasy and sci-fi are probably peak of what we're interested in. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because I'm definitely more sci-fi and you're definitely more fantasy. So we obviously leaned on those characters. And
we didn't even know which one we were picking yet. And we had defaulted to left and right. And then when we read those descriptions, it was just like, oh yeah, like that totally describes me. That totally describes you. And it was just funny. And then even like little things throughout the games, like the jokes that my character would make, and then the sarcasm your character would have, and just like the banter and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah. Not to mention that, you know, Mio has dark hair, Zoe has red hair, and she wears green, and you know, like Mio wears like blues and dark colors. Like,
yeah, it was cool. But another reason why we love this game so much, or I guess everyone loves this game so much, I mean, it's so popular. It's already sold 4 million copies since March, and here we are mid-May, and it's only on, or it's on every platform possible except for Nintendo. The Switch has not done it yet because their release date is June 5th.
For the Switch 2, though.
For the Switch 2, right. So it's not even going to be on the Switch, which is interesting. I feel like that's like, maybe that's like a launch game.
I don't know the release date of the Switch 2. I'm not sure.
The Switch 2 just had pre-orders open up. Yeah. Because your brother got it.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm still not sure of the release date. I mean, it makes sense that if this is coming out June 5th, that's probably the day it's coming out. Yeah. Because that would be a good release title. But
like, can you imagine in 2 months selling 4 million copies already, and then you haven't even reached
the Nintendo audience?
One like of the biggest audiences.
Yeah. Especially for co-op.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So Nintendo has it right where they do couch co-op. Like,
yeah, let's talk about the nitty gritty of what we're really here to talk about, and it's co-op games.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like Nintendo has just been all about co-op. Yeah. Mario Kart, always. Super Smash, like all these co-op games, yeah. And then for them not to release it yet because they're waiting on this new system.
May not have been able to handle it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to water it down either.
Sure. Absolutely. That's probably part of it.
Or Nintendo could have said, hey, Switch 2 is coming out. Your game is releasing in March. We want to wait for it.
We want to wait till June 5th. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially like, but the fact that anyone and everyone can play it is just so cool. Yeah. Does it do cross platforms though?
That I don't think so.
Yeah, because I know
that's a good question.
I know Friend Pass, like it's typically only same system.
Yeah, same system. So like if you and I, like if I wasn't here and I had the Steam Deck with me, right. You and I could play, because we have 2 separate profiles on Steam. But I don't think I can play. Does my brother have it? I should try. I would say that Friend Pass is maybe not able to be carried over to a different system. Yeah. Maybe it's cross-platform, though, if that person owns the game.
We'd have to look into it. Yeah. But speaking of co-op gaming in general, I mean, we've played many co-op games. Yeah. Or we've tried. Anyway.
It's part of the reason why we wanted to do couple chat in general, because, that's one of I think the things that a lot of people need to talk about more, if you're a couple or you have friends or whatever and you want to play couch co-op, sometimes it's hard to find the right game and which games are good and whatever. So
yeah. Well, remember we played Outland years ago, and we had to play it on 2 different platforms, 2 different PlayStations, on 2 different TVs because we couldn't play a couch co-op, but we were sitting next to each other.
Yep.
And it's just like, that game is so good, and that should be co-op.
Yeah.
Like couch co-op. Yeah. Like, I think developers just need to make that a thing, guys. Like, how hard could that be?
I think it's getting to the point where, and Hazelight, obviously, they're super focused on making co-op games. I think that with them being so successful in it, I hope other AAA studios start making that decision to, hey, we need a co-op element to our game, or let's have the ability to do couch co-op, whatever the case is. But, couch co-op is by far dead.
Yeah.
Especially when younger couples like us, the more and more we are buying houses and having families and looking for entertainment to do at home, we want to play games together. Some people are cool with doing online gaming and whatever, but you still need 2 separate consoles most of the time. You can't do split screen or whatever. Right. But, like, we want to play rich stories. We want to sit down and enjoy something together. Playing a single player game while you read is one thing, and that's interesting. And sometimes you do that too, and I do something else. But like, it's rare these days, especially. Yeah. You haven't really been gaming a lot single player, and it's like, we need to get back to the point where we're enjoying stories as a team. Yeah. It's so much different than just being a passenger and watching somebody play a game. And Split Fiction, really brought that back for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's why Nintendo has such a following.
Especially with families.
That's what I was going to get to. Like, our family, we've tried to play this Bluey game, the Bluey game.
Yeah.
We've had this game since release, and we have yet to get halfway.
Well, but Nate played the rest of it on his own, and I think he beat the game.
Did he beat the game all by himself?
It's not really all that complicated of a game, and it's not long.
No, I know. But, like, we wanted to play it as, like, a family, and then it was just, the mechanics were funky, and, like, it was really hard to play as a family, but, like, that's what Nintendo has. Nintendo has all these games that you could play as a family, the racing games, and, like...
But, see, my biggest problem with Nintendo has always been they reimagine, remake, rehash all their same characters, all the same games over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And yes, as a kid who's never really played any of it, I could understand, like, Nate, oh my God, Mario, wow, all these characters. Like, that's how you carry on generations, right? Where these kids play the same characters that you played when you were a kid, whatever. But in the end, Nintendo doesn't really do anything new either. Right. And that's why it frustrates me to even go down that path. And then they keep you in this bubble where you have to continuously make new purchases. Like, they try to, like, be like, oh, look, we're not, there's not a lot of DLC and blah, blah, blah. But they don't even care about that anymore. And now they're the ones leading this hike in gaming prices. Nintendo, of all people, are trying to bring games up to $80 a game. Wow. So. And if they do it, we all know the rest of them are going to do it too. So at this moment in time, I feel like Nintendo is like they need to rethink some things. I agree that they have the family market, but let's come up with some new ideas, some new characters. Give us some new type of co-op, some new interesting IP to play. Yeah. Like, Split Fiction doesn't have anything before or after it so far. Like, it's just a whole new, amazingly made game with a great story. Yeah. So that's my only problem with Nintendo,
Yeah, I know.
because when I bought the Steam Deck that we have upstairs in our living room, I was back and forth between, do I buy a Switch or do I buy a Steam Deck? And now, especially with the Switch 2 coming out, I'm glad I didn't buy a Switch. But I was like, if I buy a Switch, we probably have more options to play a lot of games together as a family. But the Steam Deck, we have access to all the games we already own. We don't have to buy anything new. I can continue to add on to that collection that I have. And yeah, there are not as many options, but there are games here.
Right.
And granted, haven't really played much because there aren't that many for kids especially.
Yeah. Well, if anyone wants to donate money for our Steam store, that'd be great, so we could buy some kids' games.
Well, the Lego games are like the ones that I've tried with Nate.
They're too much. They're too advanced.
For now. I think we have to get him to just like sit there and kind of like figure out some stuff on his own.
Yeah, he needs to learn mechanics. I mean, the blue game was hard in the beginning too.
Yeah.
He was having some trouble with that. But
he's moved on though. I think if I sit him down and let him try a Lego game by himself, he might be able to figure it out. But again, all we have is Lego Star Wars. And I feel like if I got like Lego Marvel superheroes or something, because Spider-Man's in that and Iron Man.
Harry Potter, because he likes...
Yeah, Harry Potter might be hard though, because there's a lot of like, you have to make potions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
You could get him Pirates of the Caribbean.
He does like pirates. He does. But he wouldn't be able to. You tried watching that with him.
Dude, I got so nauseous with that game.
No. I'm saying you tried watching the movie with him.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he didn't get who Jack Sparrow was, and it took forever for him to see the pirate, and like,
yeah,
he was bored. No. But like the game was cool. It's just I was getting nauseous during the game when I first tried it, and I was like,
"Well, we moved away from the Lego games a long time ago because it was just after a while, I was like, these games are all the same." And
then they started voice acting them,
right? And that was such a silly idea.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we play a lot of different co-op games, and if you want us to talk more about co-op here, of course, we're always down to. Two of the things that are mainstays for us is Jackbox and Overcooked. And we've said it 100 times, and I'm going to say it again right here on this podcast.
Overcooked 3.
Let's go already. Like such a good game. Great co-op. Great couch co-op.
Like just make it again. Make a third one.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. And Jackbox is coming out with a new one in October, so who knows if it's going to be good. That's the thing about Jackbox. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss if they're going to have a good one or not.
Then you need like a certain amount of people. Like,
yeah.
And that's the thing too for Jackbox. It's like you allow an audience. That's cool. Like you allow like people like come into your game. That's fine. But just like some of the games, it's like 8 to 10. Yeah. It's like, why? How many people are getting together and playing with this?
It's a good party game. That's why we try and do it when we have like family over or friends over.
Yeah. But then we go to the mainstays that we play on a regular basis with 3.
But yeah, so that's Split Fiction. If you guys are interested in playing it, it's out now on everything, like you said, coming out on the Switch 2, June, what? 5th. So, yeah, it's a great game, really worth playing, whether you have somebody to play at home with or online. They give you both options. So, anyway, till next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie.
Here are the Hahns signing out.
Thank you so much for listening to Couple Chat. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify or YouTube Music. You could even subscribe to our YouTube channel where you could see this episode in video. Thank you to Hahn Films for editing and producing this episode. Let's chat soon.